Yes. 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 All right, so we're doing a little bit different today. We're going to break down the Andor show and Tales of the Jedi, episode 8 of the Andor show, and all episodes of Tales of the Jedi live. We're doing it live this time, and not making a breakdown video, chopping it up for you, doing all that fun stuff. We're going to break it down right here live with you guys, and I'm very, very excited. Okay, so we had our prediction video yesterday, and I got really, 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 really excited for it, right? Because, I mean, come on, it's awesome. But this still blew me out of the water. This Tales of the Jedi show was something special. And what it means going forward for Star Wars is just as big. But we're going to start with Cassian Andor today. We're going to start with the Andor show today, breaking down episode 8, and we're going to do it in a completely different way like we've ever done on this channel before, and we're going to see if it even works, because who the heck knows? Let's find out. So we're going to go to Disney Plus, and we're going to have no volume because we don't want to get copyrighted. We're not going to even watch the episode. We're just going to go frame by frame, kind of, breaking down the episodes, doing, cool. It is cool. What did you think of, Cassian Andor episode 8 first? We're doing Cassian first. We'll get to Tales of the Jedi. We're doing Andor first. Out of 10. Rank it out of 10 right now. Rank it out of 10. And while you guys do that, I'm going to rank it out of 10 in a second after you guys do it. And I'm just going to wait for you guys to respond so that I can pull this up. Andor episode 8. There's only 12 episodes, so we're getting towards the end of the show. We are. We're getting towards the end. Gotta make sure there's no volume. Oop, you guys heard that, didn't you? Yeah, we want no volume. Okay. So, my ranking, out of 10. As you guys know, episode 6 was my favorite. Episode 6 was by far my favorite. And I think episode 7 was very good. Now, episode 8 is the start of this new story arc. It's this new, like, they do the story arcs in 3 episodes. Like the Attack on Aldhani was 3 episodes. So this is the start of a new kind of story arc. So I think that this is the start of this new story arc. And of course it's going to be Andor in prison is the story arc, and breaking him out of prison is that story arc. But I honestly would rank this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, that high. I think it was that good. That good. And this was even after I watched Tales of the Jedi. I watched Tales of the Jedi first. That's how hype I was for Tales of the Jedi. But even after watching Tales of the Jedi, getting so hyped, I was like, Andor's going to be a letdown. And it came out with a bang. So let's see what we got here. Oh, is it just going to be black screen? Are you serious? Oh, Disney. Gosh darn. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's going to be a black screen. That's so annoying. Why do they do that? All right, whatever. Then we're just going to describe what's going on. So the show starts off with Cassian being sent to jail. And he's being sent to this place called Narkina 5. Never heard of it before. I don't think it's ever been mentioned in Star Wars before, unless I'm sorely mistaken. Narkina 5. It's this prison. He's being sent there, and he doesn't know what it is. It is a bad, bad prison. But we also get a look at, we finally get a look at our favorite boy on planet Earth in Srill. This boy right here, Cereal Bar Srill. Don't ever get confused with anybody else except for your boy, Cereal Bar Srill. This guy right here. Our favorite character in the Cassian Andor show, of course. As Star Wars fans, we make these every Wednesday to eat while watching the Andor show, right? Everybody's in on that, right? Everybody does that? No. Stupid character. I hate him more than anything. But continuing. So it's Srill in his cubicle, and a bunch of officers walk up to him and say, "You're coming with us." And this is because he's going to see Lieutenant Miro, who is finally getting good in this show. Cassian's still off to this prison, and Lieutenant Miro comes and starts questioning Srill. Now she starts asking questions like, what was his name? Supervisor Blevin or Belvin? What was it? Blevin, whatever. She has control of Frex now. She just straight up took it from him last episode, which was awesome. And now she's asking questions about what actually happened on Ferrix because, of course, our boy, Cereal Bar Srill, was there himself. He's the guy who's completely hooked on Andor, and he actually keeps asking to be let in on the Andor investigation. He keeps asking from his cubicle like 6 times, he says he has. And Miro is not happy about it. She's not happy at all. So she questions him for a little bit, and he's just like, none of this is true. He had a terrible investigation. He didn't listen to me. And finally, some of these story arcs, we have had like 6 separate story arcs, are all colliding. In this episode, you see Vel and Cinta go to Ferrix, where Bix and Marva and all these other characters from the first 3 episodes are. So those 2 storylines are colliding, and now you have the Cyril Bar Srill and Lieutenant Miro finally colliding. So the Empire is colliding together, the Rebels are colliding together, and we're finally getting what looks like to be an actual show. Now Cassian is going to prison. Now this prison, let me pull up a picture. Andor episode 8, prison. Or it's actually a factory, but it's a prison. So it's called The Factory in the show. Oops, hang on. But it's just a prison. It's literally a prison. He's sent here for 6 years, and it is not looking too good. Now, when he first gets there, he gets electrocuted with the other prisoners that arrive. And they are all barefoot. All the guards wear these boots. And the prisoners get shocked if you're on the floor, if you do something bad, or if you come in last. Now we got Snoke. Yep, this is Snoke. Snoke is in Andor. Confirmed. He is in Andor. Yes, that is Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, if you're like, what the heck's this guy talking about? It's because this guy is actually the same actor who played Snoke. I can't think of his name. Who played Snoke? Yes. His name is Andy Serkis. Yes, Andy Serkis. So he's in Marvel. He's in literally everything you can think of. But this is him as Snoke, all dressed up in the motion capture suit. He is, of course, Snoke. But in the Andor show, he is also Snoke. Just kidding. He's this guy. He's the leader of Andor's kind of unit. They're the day shift. They're making something. I don't even know what they're making, but they're making something. And if you come in last, you get punished by getting electrocuted. If you come in first, you get more taste in your food. It's a whole craziness called a factory, but it's just a prison. It's just a prison for the Empire to use these prisoners as laborers. That's pretty much it. Then we get some more scenes of Coruscant, of the ISB headquarters, where Miro is telling all the Imperial heads, look, there is a rebel alliance being formed, and I know of a guy who is in charge of it. And Cassian Andor is connected to this guy. They might be partners. We don't know. And they're calling him Axis. Axel? Yeah, they call him Axis. And they're referring to Luthen. Of course, they're referring to Luthen, who is my favorite character in the show so far. But they're referring to Luthen, and he is just, the best. But they're referring to Luthen, and they have caught on that there's a rebellion growing. Miro is the one who has caught on and is telling all the other Imperials that this is happening, and that Cassian Andor is the connection between. So they're about to start looking for Cassian very, very hardcore. Next, you got another interrogation scene of Miro and Srill. And Srill's trying to get in. He's trying to get in with the Empire. He's working on a cubicle right now. He doesn't want to work at a cubicle anymore, as most wouldn't. He wants to be in the field, chasing down Cassian. And he's a murderer. He says he's a murderer, and we need him to be caught. Am I right? Or am I right? All right, this is more of Cassian being in the prison. Then Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma's scenes are pretty cool in this episode, actually. She is on Coruscant throwing another party, because all she does is throw parties in her house and invite other senators over to help win votes. That's literally her whole goal in this show. But our boy Tay Colma. Yeah, Tay Colma is back, the guy from the Bank of Colma. And He's from Mon Mothma's homeworld. She's trying to get money. He says, we can't. The Empire is up my, and we can't get money. That's a big problem. Then we get scenes like this. Why can't... then we get scenes that look like Kamino in the clone facility. And I can't... It's frustrating that Disney Plus just has a black screen. Why does it do that? Why is it gonna do that? Why is it gonna go do that? I don't know. But you get more scenes of the prison and Cassian in the prison, and there's this huge hallway, and it looks like the cloning facility on Kamino. It really does. And the planet that they're on is mostly water, and it's just a prison on the planet. We know it's not Kamino. We know it's not Kamino. That would be called Kamino. By the way, something awesome happened with Kamino in Tales of the Jedi, and we predicted it in the prediction video. It was pretty awesome. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to it. Continue with the Andor show. It goes back to Ferrix, where Bix is there talking to Marva, trying to take care of Marva, because Marva has fallen. Now, she didn't just fall in the house. She is a part of the rebellion now. Yay, good job, Marva. But she goes to the hotel where the Imperial base is located on Ferrix now, and she tries to see if there are still tunnels underneath. While doing that, she falls and hurts herself. But she's doing it to see if the rebellion can get underneath the Imperial base on Ferrix and cause some damage. She thinks she's a rebel, and she refuses to leave the planet. Bix is trying to convince her to, and she will not leave the planet. That's when you see that Vel and Cinta are there on Ferrix too, and this is when those two stories collide. Cinta says she's going to stay on the planet. Vel has to leave, and Cinta's going to wait until Andor comes back, if he comes back. And then you see Bix try to go call Luthen again. So she hasn't contacted Luthen since early on, but Luthen's on Coruscant still, and his assistant, kind of, I think he calls her Clea, and she gets the message from Bix, doesn't respond, obviously. Luthen wants to go there, but she talks him down, says it's not smart. Why would we do that? The Empire's there. We don't want to get caught. Blah, blah, blah. Luthen's kind of a reckless boy right now. But then somebody on the prison ends up killing themselves by just falling onto the floor. When they're asleep, the floor is electric, so they can't leave, and he just falls on the floor. He's had enough. He can't stay in the prison anymore. And they kind of all just seem like it's normal. And then on Ferrix, this is when they take one of the characters and they go after Bix. They're like, Bix! And she runs for it from the Empire, and they capture her. Now, that's not very good. But this was finally, I've been predicting this for weeks. We're going to see Saw Gerrera, and finally, we saw Saw Gerrera in this episode. And it honestly made the episode 1,000 times better. Saw Gerrera is one of my more favorite characters from Rogue One, from Rebels, from the Clone Wars. He is awesome. He's even in the Jedi Fallen Order. He's even in Jedi Fallen Order. He is so good, and adding him in the show is genius. But he likes to work alone, so they don't really get his help. Luthen goes to ask him for help. We need to be a united front. We need to be a united front, and Saw says no. He says, no, I work alone. I don't want to work with those people who have different views than me. I don't want to do it. So he says no. So no help from Saw Gerrera. Kind of sucks. I still think he might be in the rest of the show, maybe in the later episodes, like 11 or 12, and he might show up as help, because he might just see that they need his help, and it's better off to be together. It's better off to work together than die trying alone. It's pretty much what Luthen tries to explain to him, but he still doesn't see it just yet. I still think we will see more of Saw in this show. Then you see Miro is on Ferrix, and she's going to interrogate Bix, which is not going to be good. Well, we know Bix doesn't know where Andor is, but she could give some information to help Miro. So we leave off with her being interrogated on Ferrix, and then the last scene is just Andor working at the factory prison, And that's pretty much how the episode ends. It's a cliffhanger. Where are we going to go from here? Is Bix going to crack and tell Miro where Andor is, even though she doesn't know where Andor is? And how is Andor getting out of prison? How is this even possible? It looks like nobody's on their way to help him. The Empire has no idea that he's in their own prison, but they're looking for him. He's their pretty much number one target to find right now, and it is pretty much ironic that they can't find him even though he's in one of their own prisons. But again, the biggest question is, how is Andor getting out of prison? How is he going to do it? I can't answer. I have no answer. I mean, maybe Vel, maybe Luthen, but Luthen seems to be angry at Cassian right now. He doesn't seem to be his friend right now. He seems to be more angry at Cassian than he is friend. So that's not looking too hot for him. Now, all right. So like I said, I give that episode an 8.5 out of 10. It was a solid episode, having Saw Gerrera in it, having finally the two Imperial characters in Cyril cereal bars, and Lieutenant Miro finally meet on screen was cool. And then you have the Rebels with Vel and Cinto finally meeting, or in the same planet at least, on Ferrix with Bix, and all the other Rebels on Ferrix with Marva and B2 and all of them. And then you have Cassian in prison, in this awesome prison. And you have Supreme Leader Snoke. Liam Neeson's back in the chat. Oh, awesome. You were so good voicing Qui-Gon Jinn in Tales of the Jedi. I have to tell you, it was fantastic. But he says, Andor episode 8, I would give a 7 out of 10. Solid episode, missing that Palpatine cameo for me. I agree, it should have given us a Palpatine cameo. When is it just going to be like Mon Mothma's in the Senate building having a speech and Palpatine's just there? Why not? You know Ian McDiarmid wants to do it. I mean, come on. You know he wants to do it. The common complaint is probably like, oh, it would take away from the Andor show. It wouldn't be good. It's all just cameos nowadays. Cameos are cool. Cameos are awesome, and they also are geared towards the story. Think about characters that are the most important big characters in the galaxy at the time of the Andor show. Palpatine, Vader. That's it. So why wouldn't you see those two characters, especially when you're on Coruscant, where Palpatine is the ruler of the Empire, and where does he rule from? Coruscant. So it's not a cameo when the character is supposed to be there. So cameos for cameo's sake are kind of dumb, but cameos for a necessity to the story, or just that character is always there, is how it's supposed to be. Palpatine's supposed to be in the Senate building all the time. He's supposed to be on Coruscant all the time. So why wouldn't he be in the Andor show? Tell me if I'm wrong. Do you want more cameos or less cameos in the Andor show? Because right now we got almost none. Like, people crap on The Mandalorian Season 2 for having too many cameos. Having Ahsoka Tano, having Boba Fett, having Bo-Katan. Like, what do you want? They're very crucial to the story. He goes to find Ahsoka to bring Grogu back to the Jedi, and she sends them to the Seeing Stone. Like, it's important to the story. Having cameos in The Mandalorian Season 2 is extremely important to the story. So maybe not having Palpatine in the Andor show is extremely important to the story, but he's always on Coruscant, and he is the leader of the Empire. And this is a show where we're on Coruscant all the time, and we're following the Empire. We're in an Imperial prison or factory right now. We're on Coruscant in the ISB headquarters. So how can we not see Palpatine? But yes, Liam, I agree. 7 out of 10 is a little on the lower side. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 just because Saw Gerrera, honestly. Saw Gerrera is one of my favorite characters, and seeing him in there was awesome. So that really brought the score up for me. But if he wasn't in the episode, I'd be right there with you. 7 out of 10 would probably be what I'd give it. I'm hoping episode 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's only 4 episodes left. Only 4. So I'm hoping that it gets really, really good towards the end of this season. Because we already know that season 2 is coming. I think did they start filming it already? Because I think they just started filming it. I don't think it's going to come anytime soon. We got Mandalorian season 3 next year, the Ahsoka show next year. Star Wars Visions, even Skeleton Crew, and The Acolyte. Probably all 5, 6, 7 of those shows are going to be before Andor Season 2. And like I've shown a million times, the graphs for the Andor show are very, very low, which is not good. I mean, the people who watch it seem to love it, like me, you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, you. We seem to love the show, but it just seems like the casual fans don't seem to like it as much. I don't know. That's just what I kind of get from the show. Let's move on to Tales of the Jedi. We just talked 20 minutes about the Andor show. I thought we were going to go for 30 seconds. I can't stop thinking about this show. Tales of the Jedi was unbelievable. All right, so now before we even get into it, rank it out of 10. Rank Tales of the Jedi, all 6 episodes. We're not going at one episode at a time. All 6 episodes, overarching. What do you give it out of 10? We had the 3 episodes with Ahsoka, 3 episodes with Count Dooku. All 6 of them together. Rank it out of 10 right now while I try and pull it up and see if I can actually get this thing to work. It's going to just be a black screen again, isn't it? Yeah, what the heck? How do I fix that? I've seen people do this before. I do it with trailers, but that's with trailers on YouTube. It's because it's Disney Plus, and Disney Plus is a butthead. I don't know. Guess I'll just have to break it down for you. Guess you'll just have to look at my pretty face for the rest of this video. No, we'll talk about it a little bit, and I'll pull up some pictures for it. So rank it out of 10. Rank it out of 10. I'll give you my ranking in like 2 seconds. Okay, boom, boom. Alright, so if I was to rank this Tales of the Jedi, all 6 episodes together at the same time, I would give it a 9.8 out of 10. A 9.8. Now, I have a reason for the 9.8, and I'll tell you after we break down the entire thing. But 9.8. Now, I'm the best episode of the Andor show was episode 6 for me, and I gave that an 8.7 out of 10. So this is a 9.8. We're talking near perfect. Give Dave Filoni everything. Give him everything. You watch even The Mandalorian Season 2, which is my favorite season of any of the Star Wars stuff they've ever given us. You watch it. The best episode is the Ahsoka episode. And why is that? Because it's all Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni directed it. Dave Filoni wrote it. It's all Dave Filoni because he created the character of Ahsoka. So they were like, we'll give you this episode. But just visually, writing-wise, the entire episode is perfect because of Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni created The Mandalorian with Jon Favreau. He helped out a little bit with Book of Boba Fett. It was mostly Jon Favreau with the Book of Boba Fett. But it was Dave Filoni with the best 2 episodes. The Luke training Grogu and the Mandalorian episode. Those were the ones that Dave Filoni was involved with. Then you look at Star Wars Rebels. All 4 seasons. Unbelievably good. Then you look at this show. The Bad Batch too. But this show that came out right now, an 8.9 out of 10. You got to give Filoni everything. Give him everything. Just say, here's Star Wars. Do whatever you want with it. Do whatever you want with it, because this guy is the best. But let's start with episode number 1. Episode number 1, which is called Life and Death. So this one follows Ahsoka Tano. And I was confused at first because I was like, why is the first episode Ahsoka and then the next 3 are Dooku and then the last 2 are Ahsoka? But then I was like, wait, it's just in chronological order. So it's in order of when these events happen from start to finish. Ahsoka as a baby is obviously going to be first, and then the 3 Dooku episodes are going to be next, and then the last 2 Ahsoka ones because Ahsoka comes in as a Jedi after Dooku has already fallen to the dark side. So the first episode starts off with baby Ahsoka Tano. So she has just been born. This is her mom. This is like the either her grandmother or just like the village elder, and she has just been born, and then it skips 1 year later, and she goes on a hunt with her mom. It is a tradition for them to go hunting when they turn 1 year old, I guess. I don't know. She says it's a tradition as they go into the woods, and the elder puts a blue mark across their faces to wish them luck and keep them safe. Her mom shoots a deer, or what looks to be a deer, and her mom teaches Ahsoka about life and death. And then this gigantic saber-toothed tiger, which I'll pull up right now, this gigantic saber-toothed tiger comes and takes Ahsoka. Let me see if I can find you that. Baby Ahsoka and saber-toothed. Oops. That's not even how you spell saber-tooth. Duh. Guess we're not going to find it. Whatever. Gigantic saber-toothed tiger comes in and takes her, and she actually communes with that saber-toothed tiger with the Force. Literally, as a 1-year-old child, she can control animals, and she comes riding back into town on the back of the saber-toothed tiger like a boss, and then the saber-toothed tiger runs away. And then her mom's like, how do you explain this? And this girl walks up and goes, Jedi. Ahsoka is Jedi. Ahsoka is Jedi. She is. It's a fact. It's a known fact. Ahsoka is Jedi. Little did they know that Ahsoka is citizen, not Jedi. But, so that was episode 1. It was all about Ahsoka as a baby, and it was a perfect start to the show. Honestly, my least favorite episode, but that's just because no action really. It's just Ahsoka as a baby, but it is very important to Ahsoka Tano as a character because of the fact that she learns from her family first. She doesn't learn from the Jedi first. She learns from her family first, and she also teaches us that she is very strong with the Force, even from a young age. So the next episode, episode 2, is Count Dooku. In these 3 Count Dooku episodes, I would give straight 10 out of 10. Straight 10 out of 10. Honestly, the Ahsoka Tano episodes are what brings it down that point too. It's to a 9.8 out of 10. And it's because of those Ahsoka episodes. But these Dooku episodes are straight 10 out of 10. They are fire. They are so unbelievably good. It is insanity how good these episodes are. Dooku and Qui-Gon in the first episode is insane. It's just so good. Like I don't understand how anybody could have watched this and not liked it. If that makes any sense. Let me pull it up for you. Tales of the Jedi. Dooku. So, the first episode with Dooku is when it's before the Phantom Menace. It's when Qui-Gon Jinn is his Padawan. Now, this is very important because I'm gonna pull this one up for you. Oh wow, that's such a bad picture. Hang on, that's better. Okay, let's try that one. Okay, can I zoom in on that? What's going on here? Boom, 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 boom. All right. It's very blurry, but this is what we're dealing with. All right, so you got Count Dooku right here with his lightsaber out, blue before it turns red. This is Qui-Gon Jinn. This episode is. This is awesome. Okay, I can't even come up with the words to describe how awesome this is. Dooku has a fall to the dark side. We don't know what the fall to the dark side is until now. This is how it starts. It starts when Qui-Gon is a Padawan and they go to this planet where a senator's child has been captured. This planet is straight trashed. It is so poorly kept. All the droids are falling over. All the trees are dead. It's an insanely bad world to be on, at least it looks like. And Qui-Gon and Count Dooku come strolling into town, and nobody wants to even converse with them. They go into the bar, and they say, where is the senator's son? And everybody in town captured him. Because, look, this senator is the worst. He's been reigning for a long time, sure, but that doesn't mean he's a good senator. And look at the town. That's all you have to do is look at the town and know that it's bad. Then he shows up with his posse, with his guards, who don't even want to work for him. They literally don't even want to work for him. And they literally just start shooting on the civilians. They just for no reason. Like, I guess, sure, they stole his son, but the negotiations were still going on, and he was like, ready, aim, fire, boom. And we're about to kill all of you. And then Dooku chokes him out. I mean, talk about badass. This is epic. This is so good. Like, I mean, all right. Let me settle down for a second here. No, this is unbelievably good, and everybody needs to know it. No, so he chokes the senator, like forces all the other guards away, chokes the senator to the point where Qui-Gon has to go free the son. The son has to run over to the senator, and Qui-Gon has to stop him. He has to say, "Master, enough. It's over. We need to stop this." And he almost goes too far and kills the senator. But he doesn't. He is restrained at this point in time. He is restrained, which is cool. But you can see that he is correct. The Jedi are wrong. He says, when the senator shows up, he says, the Jedi are supposed to serve the Senate. And he says, no. That's not how the Jedi work. The Jedi are supposed to protect peace and guard are the guardians of peace and protect the galaxy, protect the citizens of the Republic, not just hired arms for the Senate. So that's where Dooku sees the line, and that's also where Qui-Gon sees the line in The Phantom Menace. But the Jedi Council sees it differently, and a lot of the Jedi see it differently. So this is what causes Dooku to fall. So Episode 1 is just the start of it. When Episode 1 with Dooku, Episode 2 of the show. Episode 2 with Dooku, it is called Justice. It's called Justice, and it is the start of Dooku's fall when Qui-Gon is but a Padawan. Now, this, of course, takes place before The Phantom Menace, but after the birth of Ahsoka Tano. Liam Neeson, still in our chat, thank you, says, Tales of the Jedi, probably a 9.9 out of 10. Great episodes, adds much needed depth to Dooku's character from the prequel trilogy. I couldn't say it better myself. 9.9 out of 10 though, Liam. What's that 0.1? Tell me what's that 0.1. Why is it a 9.9 and not a straight 10 out of 10? I get a 9.8. I gave it a 9.8, but I have my reasons. All right, moving on to Episode 3. Now, Episode 3 and 4 are my favorite by far. Episode 3 is called Choices. Now, this is almost the kind of the same thing story-wise, where instead of him and Qui-Gon going to a planet where a senator's son has been captured, it's Count Dooku as a Jedi Master and Mace Windu as a Jedi Master. He doesn't yet have a seat on the council, but they're going to investigate the death of a council member on a planet. Now, there was a death of a council member who was supposed to be there to protect people, and it wasn't really supposed to be that big of a deal, but she ends up dying. And when Dooku and Mace get there, they can tell that something is going on, and they are not fans. So here we go. Zoom in a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. All right, you got Count Dooku here. Honestly, my only fault or my only dislike with these episodes with Dooku is Dooku's look. I just don't think it looks enough like Dooku, honestly. It just doesn't, he looks like he's got Squidward's nose up here, and he honestly just doesn't resemble Dooku except for his voice and the hilt. But you got Mace Windu over here, and awesome, of course. Mace Windu, whenever you get to see him more in Star Wars, is awesome. But when they get there, they can tell something's wrong. They go out to the spot where the Master died, and they clearly tell us something's wrong. And the leader says, look, it was the guards, and the guards actually shoot him, and then Dooku loses again. He chokes out people, he's killing people, he loses his mind, and Mace has to stop him. Again, Mace has to stop him. Qui-Gon had to stop him in the first one, and now Mace has to stop him in this one. But again, the Jedi were wrong, and the Jedi are wrong again and again and again, and that's what causes Dooku to fall to the dark side. It's not the fact that he's just a bad guy. It's the fact that the Republic, the Senate, the Jedi themselves, the Council, is wrong. It's wrong. And the way that he handles this is not the wrong way. It's just not the way that the Jedi Council wanted him to. So Mace Windu at the end of the episode gets the seat on the Council over Count Dooku. And that's where he kind of gets a little bit upset. Now, this is still when before the Phantom Menace. This is still before the Phantom Menace, so it's before Episode 1. It's before Qui-Gon dies and all that stuff. Next is Episode 4. Now, this one is probably my by far favorite. Spencer is in the chat. He says, who wants to see Tales of the Jedi Season 2, 3, and beyond? I think everybody. I literally think everybody. Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 7, Season 12, Season 1000. Take any Jedi. Literally any of the Jedi. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday in the live stream. Sifo Dyas. Take any of Luke Skywalker's apprentices that we don't know anything about. Literally take Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, his fall to the dark side. Take anybody. Any of the Jedi, there's thousands of them. Take any of them and make Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, Season 7, and just go on forever. This was only like an hour of content, and I'm sure it didn't cost them much to make, and it was straight fire. And everybody who's watched it has said the same. I haven't heard one person say that this is bad. If you think it's bad, tell me in the chat so I can crap all over you and tell you that you're wrong, because you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. All right, so Episode 4, before I get too heated. Episode 4 is called A Sith Lord, and it is by far my favorite episode. Now, this one is very, very crucial because it is the final one with Count Dooku, but it is the final fall to the dark side with Count Dooku. Now, you see Master Yaddle in this one, voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's awesome. But this is my picture for this one. So it opens up, and Qui-Gon is older now. He actually is dead now. It opens up, and Qui-Gon is dead. Qui-Gon is older at the beginning of the episode. You see him alive. So he's no longer his apprentice. He has Obi-Wan as his apprentice, and Count Dooku doesn't have Qui-Gon as his apprentice anymore. And it kind of bums him out, honestly. It makes him seem a little sad when he talks to Yaddle and Qui-Gon about him not being his Padawan anymore. And then it jumps to the future where Qui-Gon dies, and he doesn't even want to go to the funeral on Naboo. He doesn't want to. He's filled with rage. He doesn't want to do it. He's also going to meet up with Palpatine instead. Yaddle sees that he's upset and goes with him. Now, we've made videos, talked about it in live streams, about how Yaddle was going to die in this episode. And that is exactly what happened. But it was in one of the coolest ways ever. This is a blurry picture. It was a very similar scene of Attack of the Clones when Dooku fights Yoda, but it's Dooku versus Yaddle, and Palpatine is there, voiced by Ian McDiarmid himself, of course, because he loves to play Palpatine all the time. But he's there, and he gets to watch it and watch Dooku's final fall to the dark side by killing Master Yaddle. One thing I couldn't help but notice was that Yaddle talked normally. Talked like I'm talking to you right now. She didn't talk in riddles and backwards like Yoda does. She talked normally. So this leads us to believe that she might be a lot younger than Yoda. Also that she clearly had some better education than Yoda. I don't know. I don't know why she talks normally and Yoda doesn't, but this leaves a gigantic question. Will Grogu talk normally? If Grogu comes out talking normally, I think a lot of Star Wars fans might actually be upset with that. They want him to start talking like Yoda. It also didn't answer the question, will Yaddle, did Yaddle give birth to Grogu? We didn't see that scene. We didn't see her die of sadness. That's Padme. Why do I keep getting those two confused? Just kidding. But we did get a very important scene. And Liam Neeson himself was in our chat yesterday. I know you're still in here today. But he was in the chat asking, what if we see Count Dooku go into the Jedi Temple, go into the Jedi Archives, and get rid of Kamino in the Jedi Archives? Because it's not there in Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan goes in, and that's exactly what we saw. It was so cool. He walks right into the Jedi Temple. He types in Sifo Dyas's password, and it says, Master Sifo Dyas, access granted, the Kamino file, and then he deletes the Kamino file. It is so cool. I wish we actually got to see Sifo Dyas. We didn't, but it was so sick. I mean, just seeing that, like, just a tiny little Easter egg in Attack of the Clones. Kamino's gone. It's erased from the archives. Sifo Dyas created the clone army, but it's really Count Dooku. And they just put that into animation, and it took 1 minute, and it just made me smile. It was awesome. It made my day, and it made the show that much better. This show is straight fire because it's no filler at all. Each episode's like 10 to 15 minutes, and it's straight fire the entire time. It's just straight fire. So we need more of this. We need a whole lot more of this as Star Wars fans. It literally just makes sense to get a season 2, 3, 4, like Spencer said in the chat. It makes so much sense to get more of this because the fans love it. I love it. You love it. We all seem to have loved this. And if Star Wars, if Lucasfilm gets that message through the internet that everybody's loving this stuff, they'll make season 2, they'll make season 3, and they'll keep going with these fun things for Star Wars. Because again, if it gets views, if it makes them money, that's all they look at. So we got to make this get views. We got to make this get money. We got to make more money for Lucasfilm, make more money for Disney, so that they make a season 2 and a season 3 and a season 4, and they just keep going with this. Like, they could literally come out with one season of this every single year, like on October, 26th today? October 26th every year, and why not? Literally, why not? Just have a new season of Tales of the Jedi come out every year on October 26th. It probably doesn't cost them much money at all, and it's only an hour of content. It's genius. It is straight genius. But now let's get into the last 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes are Ahsoka Tano's episodes. The first one being called Practice Makes Perfect. Now this one is very cool because it has, of course, Anakin acting like Anakin, being late for her first training lesson at the beginning, with Obi-Wan saying a snappy remark. And you have Ahsoka training with fake droids, and Anakin says that's not enough. He says, I need to train you as your master. I need you to be prepared for anything. And this is actually extremely important because we know that the only reason she survives Order 66 is because of this training that Anakin gives her right now. This is the training that keeps her alive. She says, why should I fight clones? They're way more intelligent than droids. Droids don't work like this. And he says, I need to protect you from anything. Anything can happen. He's literally just foreshadowing Order 66 and his downfall, but it keeps Ahsoka alive. So even when Anakin falls to the dark side, he's still protecting Ahsoka with the training that she got from him. So really, he is the chosen one. But that was never a thing. Never not a thing, I should say. He's always the chosen one. But Ahsoka Tano is the chosen one-er. Apprentice to the chosen one. So it makes a lot of sense. And it was just so cool to see that Anakin was the reason that Ahsoka Tano survives Order 66 the way that she does. And even the last scene of the episode is Rex saying, I'm hoping that training paid off, and walking into the hangar with hundreds of clone troopers around them, literally just saying, I'm hoping that training paid off. And it did. We saw it happen in Clone Wars Season 7, that it paid off. And it was just so cool to see. Now the season, or the first season, I guess, it does say season 1 on Disney Plus, so hopefully that does entail, it doesn't say like limited series or anything, it just says season 1, so that hopefully that means there's season 2 and more. But episode 6 was Resolve. So episode 6 actually starts off with Padme's funeral in animation. So Padme's funeral in animation is actually pretty sick to see. But it shows us that Ahsoka Tano was there. Ahsoka Tano was there at Padme's funeral, which is so cool. This is Padme's funeral in animation, and Ahsoka is there. Bail Organa's there. Bail Organa goes and finds Ahsoka afterwards and says, here, take this. If you ever need help, just call me. I'll be there to help you. And she says, I think I'm done fighting. Ahsoka says, I'm done fighting. She's done, which makes sense. She should be done. She fought very hard against the dark side, and she even left the Jedi Order. She did everything she could to get away from this, and again, she still had to survive Order 66. She still had to fight Darth Maul. She still had to do all these things, and she's just tired. So she needs a break. She takes a break. She goes off, lives on a farm somewhere, but it catches up to her. She has to save somebody using the Force from falling hay bales, and then one of the guys calls an Inquisitor to come kill her. The Inquisitor ends up actually burning down the entire village, which is not a good thing, but the Inquisitor looks so cool. And it's honestly like a Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul in Star Wars Rebels scene, where the fight doesn't take all that long. Ahsoka doesn't even have her lightsabers with her. She just takes the Inquisitor's ones and chops off his head, which is awesome, but I wish it kind of lasted a little longer. But the Inquisitor looks so sick. Let me show you. I know you've probably seen the trailer a million times, but this Inquisitor, it's honestly the coolest thing ever. I mean, just look at this thing. Come on. I'm honestly mad that Ahsoka chopped his head off. I wanted more of this guy. Obviously, we know we don't get more of this guy. He's not in Jedi Fallen Order. He's not in Kenobi. He's not in Rebels. So we had to kill him, but come on, Ahsoka. Let him live. Look at how cool he looks. Come on. But it was a cool fight scene. Ahsoka didn't have to use her lightsaber. A lot like Vader doesn't have to use his lightsaber versus Reva in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Kind of cool parallels between Master and Apprentice there. But she doesn't even use her lightsaber. Takes the one from the Inquisitor. Chops his head off. So badass. And then she calls Bail Organa. So now she goes to talk to Bail Organa, and she becomes Fulcrum. This is when she becomes Fulcrum, becomes a part of the rebellion, and we see her next in Star Wars Rebels, and it fills that gap. It's just, this show was so good. It's insane. It was so good. It was so good. So good. So good. A 9.8 out of 10. And again, I said I'd explain why I gave it a 9.8 out of 10. The point, too, is because of the Ahsoka episodes. And it's not because the Ahsoka episodes were bad. No, they definitely were not. They were very good. And they gave so much more to the character of Anakin and, of course, Ahsoka. But it was the beginning. It was Ahsoka as a baby. We spent the longest episode, I think the longest episode. Yes, so the episodes are all about 12 to 17, 18 minutes. But the longest episode is episode 1 at 19 minutes. So it's the longest episode, and it was just Ahsoka as a baby being carried around by a saber-toothed tiger. Now, not that that wasn't a good episode, because it was. It just brought it down just a little bit for me. If it was another episode, a third episode of Ahsoka as an adult, I think it would have been cooler. I think it was cool to see her as a baby and use the Force to communicate with animals. But the next 3 episodes are Count Dooku, and they are all straight bangers. So, I mean, how can you be mad about it? A 9.8 out of 10. It's the highest thing I've ever rated anything. Maybe the finale of Mando Season 2 I gave higher. But, I mean, come on. Come on. This is the... I can look out... what does Thanos say? I can look out at a grateful universe and whatever he says. That's how I feel right now. This show was so good. Andor episode 8 was very good, and it's just great. The problem with the Tales of the Jedi, and it's not a problem at all, is that it makes Andor look worse. And I know what I just said. I just said that the Andor show was great. But it makes the Andor show look worse because it comes out at the same time as the Andor show. Now, people, I posted it on Instagram. Let me actually pull up my post on Instagram. I posted this yesterday on Instagram. Yeah. This was my post on Instagram yesterday. So this. Andor walks in the room. It's the scene from Spider-Man. Andor walks in the room with flowers, and Star Wars fans are holding Tales of the Jedi's hand. And it's funny because it's true. Everybody, I bet you majority of people today watched Tales of the Jedi before they watched Andor Episode 8. Probably some people didn't even watch Andor Episode 8. They watched Tales of the Jedi first. Myself included. I watched Tales of the Jedi first. And it's just true. It had more hype behind it. The Andor show is good, but it has no hype behind it. We're talking about Ahsoka Tano, Qui-Gon Jinn, Count Dooku, Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi. These very important characters to Star Wars, and then you got Cassian Andor, and Luthen, and Mon Mothma, who are all side characters, when these are the main characters of Star Wars. So yes, of course, it had more hype behind it, but why? Why put them on the same day? Just spread them out. Give us Tales of the Jedi the week after the finale of Andor. I mean, yeah, don't do that now, of course. We've already watched it, but it just seems a little dumb. That's just me. That's just me. I think it just makes the Andor show look worse. Again, isn't the worst thing, isn't a terrible thing, but that's just one man's opinion. But it's my opinion, so it's fact. But yes, this is a great meme. Because Tales of the Jedi, I can guarantee you, everybody watched first today, and Andor Episode 8 was still good, but just everybody wants to see Tales of the Jedi first, because it has the main characters of Star Wars. It's just a fact. It's a fact. So, yeah. So that's my thing. That's what I think of Tales of the Jedi. That's what I think of Cassian Andor. That's what I think. That is what I think. Anything else? Anything else? Anybody in the chat? What do we think? Any last minute discussion points? Anything? Anybody? Anybody there? Yo, look at this Mandalorian mug. I'm gonna say this every episode or every live stream until somebody says something about it. All right, well, that's my breakdown for Andor. That's my breakdown for Tales of the Jedi. That's all I got for you guys today. I know I went live instead of doing the conventional breakdown videos I usually do. I just thought, look, I would have had to make 2 breakdown videos, probably like at least 7 breakdown videos for Tales of the Jedi, just because it was that good, that much was going on, and it was awesome. So I didn't want to do all that. I wanted to just do one condensed video, and it seems like you guys like it. I love seeing activity in the chat. It makes me feel so happy. But yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see you guys in the chat. See you guys loving the Tales of the Jedi, loving the Andor show, loving this live stream, because I'm loving it. Somehow we got all the way to McDonald's. Somehow. All right, that's it. I got to get on out of here. I got to go get ready for episode 9 of the Andor show. Sometimes I make myself laugh, you know? Sometimes you just got to make yourself laugh, you know? Sometimes you just got to do it. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't hit that like button, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hit the like button. Actually, no, don't hit it. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. Actually, no. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and then hit the bell next to the subscribe button. Yeah, let's do it like that. Because then you'll get notified when I post a video, and you'll see my pretty face in that recommended feed of yours. Of course. May the Force be with you. Always.